we have the slide that I shared with y'all that kind of breaks down some of the situation, but feel free to come join us and talk about what you've learned, how this is impacting y'all.
Oh, wow. Okay. I didn't know we were going to come up here. All right. Well, I think just introduce myself. So yeah, just one of the residents that has happened to learn here recently about the demolishment, the purchase of this property from this developer. Things that are going on are just, reaching out to the community. I've reached out to a lot of the people that I work with as a relocation person. I've got some pretty good, just contacts that I've reached, and I'm hoping that other developers, affordable housing developers, come in to, like you guys and like you just mentioned, like this is not the story isn't new. It's not like we're standing here for you as the first people to be, complaining or upset or feeling like we've been wronged for just being pushed aside. It's a story that goes on over and over, so we're not saying anything new. But I do think that it's important for just one last shout for Austin to try to come back together and really combat what is in front of us, because it's not new. And I don't know, maybe enough people walking into it together is going to make a little bit of a difference. Maybe it isn't, but that's what I'm here for. I happen to be on the other end now, and it's incredibly hard.
Yeah, everything she said I agree with. I'm also very much in the camp of this process has been eye-opening in not a great way. When it was first brought to my attention that Acacia Cliffs was going to be demolished and not much had been said or done in the way of preventing displacement or minimizing the effects of that displacement, I immediately assumed, okay, this must be some kind of oversight. And so we did everything that we could to bring it to the attention of our council member. We had several conversations with our council member, and our council member, I felt like I left every one of those conversations feeling like he was trying to convince me to get over it. He was trying to convince me to take the allowances that are already set up. I'm not sure if those are up there. No,
They're in parentheses next to them.
Current requirement 4 months, we're asking for 6 months. You can go into those details in greater. But yeah, it was very discouraging talking to one council member. We went around the route and we talked to a few of them, and every meeting that I came out of, it was a lot of, you can't seem to convince these people to take a stand just based on it feels like the right thing to do, or even the piece where, well, this is your job, isn't it? Like, we voted for you to, nobody voted for these council members so that the developers would have a voice. The developers already have a voice, it's pockets, money. And so that's how I felt about it. Like, there were more meetings that we're already planning on doing with other representative, or I believe we have a meeting this morning with the House of Representatives, Donna, and I wasn't at that meeting. I'm told that it went very well. I'm gonna be honest, I deliberately didn't go to that meeting because I didn't want to feel, again, like a politician was giving me lip service. Walking into these meetings and feeling like, well, I should have brought a carrot or a stick, because it's all about, to me, it feels, I'm talking my opinion here, but to me, it feels like you either got to show, well, what's in it for me, or you got to show, well, what are you going to do if I do nothing? That's the energy that I felt like I was at the table up against, and that's not comfortable energy when you're talking to the person that you elected to help you. But yeah, we're still in the process. We're still working towards it. Like I said, we had a very promising conversation this morning, and I hope to build on it. And all the support, all the knowledge, that's why I'm here, is to just push it out, push out the messaging, push out that the situation as it currently stands isn't good enough. And something does need to change.
Thank you all. And just real quick, I know it's kind of hard to like turn around and see everything up there, but kind of listed out the main demands that y'all have and the main amendments that Duchin has proposed, which were also things you all proposed need to change in DB90. Can y'all talk briefly about some of that? Anything you'd like to say about demands or amendments?
This was kind of part of the growing process for us too. Like when it first came to our attention that the buildings were going to be demolished, that was about a week before a very important vote was about to be made in council meeting. And so just in reaction to that, it was pretty knee-jerk. We just kind of spat out a list of demands. And over this time, we've had a chance to look into it and tweak it to this degree and that degree. Our original proposal was predominantly on financial compensation. Like when our argument was, you can't just displace us, you can't just push us into a new apartment complex that's $400, $500 more expensive and expect us to just deal with that. There has to be something. And in the process of having these conversations, it's become clear that the bigger problem is the structure of the DB90, the structure of the policy that allows these kinds of things to happen. Like DB90, my understanding is it wasn't created for this instance. It was created to make some value out of, empty parking lots, things like that. It definitely wasn't put there to take already affordable housing and make it less affordable. And that is what it's being used for at this time. And so that's where our proposal, that's where our big ask to the council members is focused now, is somebody in the council needs to take an active hand, take the first step in bringing this back to the table and saying this isn't perfect. It needs further tweaking, it needs further refinement so that these kinds of loopholes and these kinds of predatory practices can stop falling through the cracks.
That's a good point, and I'll just add that one of the biggest asks that we're asking is for DB90 to reinstate their initial wording of having one-for-one replacement. I think that that's something that was in there and at some point got removed, and that's a huge thing. I mean, that's the one thing that prevents people from being homeless, and for the people that are going to be displaced and do not have other options, that's what's going to happen to them. So, not every one of us are in that boat, and that's a good thing. Not everyone is going to be displaced, and some of us can afford to stay if we need to or move around. But we're not talking here on behalf of just us. We have a whole lot of neighbors that will be homeless. And so the biggest ask is to have that be put back into the wording and really protect the residents. And like Harrison said, making sure that what is affordable is really matches what we have now, or very close to it.
Before we move on, can you explain for anybody who might not know that language, what is one-to-one replacement?
Yeah, so one-to-one is under the relocation, it's the Uniform Relocation, the Uniform URA Relocation Act. That is a federal law. It's in place for, typically, it's for when a developer uses federal loans or federal funds to demolish or acquire, and there's any displacement with the residents, then they are protected federally by the URA. And that, one of the things that it includes, excuse me, when they use 104D of that URA, it requires for the developer to do a one-for-one replacement, meaning that for every resident that has to move out, if they are in a one-bedroom, they are guaranteed to come back to a one-bedroom. If they're in a two-bedroom, then they're guaranteed to come back to a two-bedroom. So it's a very important part of that protection because it's what protects a resident from not being permanently displaced without a place to go.
Awesome. Thank you so much, y'all.